Welcome to Michael Pickens Racing. Here's the man himself. Michael, it's so nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
We're here for a special reason. How important is the number 100 to you?
That's really important. Been trying a long time to get there, so no, it means a lot.
All right, now we'll explain why 100 is important to Michael Pickens.
The CRC number 54, Michael Pickens, will take the win here for the third round of the Pipeline Post Shop Red Light Series.
Michael, 100 feature race wins at Western Springs. Why is that such a big deal for you?
It's massive. You know, I started racing a long time ago, and to get to this point is incredible. You know, a lot of people have helped me get this far, and it's really special.
You see, but you're not too far away from 200 features in total. I mean, we're talking numbers, and a lot of race car drivers don't like to think about that. They just like to win.
100%. I've never ever kept count or anything like that, and funny enough, it wasn't that long ago, a gentleman, Matthew Percival, he came up to me a few years back and said, do you realise, you know, you're at such and such many features? And it was maybe 150, 160, somewhere around there, and it blew me away, to be honest. And we've sort of kept a rough tally since then, but not an exact one. And I guess in the back of your mind, you don't want to think, oh, if I get 3 more features, I'm at 200, because it probably would put you off your game, I guess. So we've got 1 more to go to 200, so we're just treating each race as another race.
When did you figure out you were good at this?
I don't think you can ever sit back and say I've mastered this sport, because I think in most sports, if you sit on your hands and do nothing and don't try and improve, you'll get beaten. And every single week we're trying something new. I'm always thinking about what I could do better, and that's part of what any good sportsman does, and to keep winning. And I've done that for a long, long time, and been lucky enough to have people around me with the same mentality, trying to make my cars better and better. So it's just a willingness to win.
Why can't people beat you more often than not?
You've got to have some mongrel in you, and you've really got to want it more than anyone else. You know, and you at the same time, you don't want to be crashing. So it's a real balance between having that mongrel and aggression, but being able to control it at the same time.
In the world that we live in right now, is the sport healthy?
I think it is. Sprint cars have really grown in numbers in the last probably 5 years, more so than ever before. Midgets have probably stayed about the same, but it's healthy, yes.
What do you like? Do you have a preference? I mean, we're sitting in front of this magnificent sprint car, because I think they're just ridiculous machines. And then, of course, you've got then you've got your midget. Do you love the sprint cars better because they're like an untamed beast that you have to tame?
That's probably a really good way to describe them, to be honest. They've got a stupid amount of power. They've got a stupidly big tyre, a stupidly big wing on top. Everything's big about them. And as a race car, they're very rewarding to drive. On the other hand, the midget is more tamed down sort of version, I suppose. Less aero, less horsepower, less tyre. That probably makes them a bit more racy, which is why you see a few more slide jobs and ducking and diving in the midgets, because they're a little slower, they move around a lot more. But they're both fun in their own right.
The office is such a tiny office. I've looked inside and gone, how can you do a 50 lapper in such a tiny office? Did it take long to get used to, or was that just all you knew?
That's all I know. You know, I sat in a quarter midget, which is even smaller, and you know, when we shoehorn someone in there for a crew day or a sponsor day or something like that, they're blown away by how they can't move. But it's like anything, you get used to it, and we're always trying to make things safer too. So that makes it, in some respects, more claustrophobic still, because there's more padding, etc., around the seat area to protect the head, and that's just something a driver has to get used to.
You like other challenges. You've done the Battle of Jack's Ridge, right?
Yeah, I've always had I guess an interest, a passion for rallying. Peter Johnston, who's helped me out for a number of years, is very passionate about World Rally. He's owned a lot of Group B rally cars, so yeah, it's something I've always wanted to have a crack at, and Jack's Ridge was really, really cool. I mean, amazing event.
Is the transition easier though, because you're used to going sideways on dirt?
Driving the car is, but listening to pace notes is like a duck out of water. I mean, it is, when I could see where I was driving, I was fine, and I felt we had reasonable pace, but when you're going blind over a crest and then it's 3 right or something like that, I mean, that was nerve-wracking.
We started this discussion with the number 100. You're closing in on 200 feature wins. Is there any other number that comes to mind that you'd like to achieve before you say, you know what, I think I'm done?
I've always said I'll keep racing so long as I can win and so long as I'm enjoying it. And until that time comes, you never know. Might be 250, might be 300, we'll wait and see.